In today's show, we're recapping the Blazers' win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Damian Lillard had his best scoring night of the season, 39. Is Dame finally back? And we'll look ahead at a big week ahead, some challenging games ahead for the Portland Trail Blazers. Welcome to Locked On Blazers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Trailblazers, your daily Portland Trailblazers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, world? It's your past first point guard and Trailblazer reporter, Mike Richmond. You are listening to another episode of Locked On Blazers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, available wherever you get podcasts and now also on YouTube. If you're listening to the show, a longtime listener, and haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Go to YouTube right now and subscribe. If you're a first-time listener, we're also on YouTube. Surprise, surprise. So if you're listening in a podcast feed, head on over to YouTube right now. Just search Locked On Blazers and subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed, smash that button. We do this 5 days a week, the only daily Trailblazers podcast, free wherever you get podcasts and also on YouTube. So why not make the show your first listen every day? Start your day off with a little bit of Trailblazers news from Locked On Blazers. Help me grow the show. Subscribe and tell your friends to subscribe. The way people find out about podcasts is word of mouth. So if you enjoy this show, tell your friends you enjoy it so we can help grow the show. We got a lot to talk about today. The Blazers won on Saturday evening, 118-111. Damian Lillard had his best offensive performance of the season. Is he back after scoring 39 against the Sixers? He seems to think he's headed in the right direction, and it was just nice to see him be the best basketball player on the court by a lot. Refreshing to see Dame get buckets. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about a little bit more about the closing lineups and sort of the Blazers' balance of when to use Yusuf Nurkic and when to go small and how that played out against the Sixers, who were a pretty small team. And then let's look ahead to the week that's coming for the Blazers. Some tough games, a road trip, a chance to prove that they're not just a really good home team that cannot figure out to win outside of their arena. Should be a fun sort of telling week. So we'll look ahead to that to close the show. But first, let's talk about this Blazers win. Like we do at this time, the fastest recap in the West, a 118-111 win over the Philadelphia 76ers on Saturday night. The Blazers led 55-46 at halftime. Dame had 17 in the first half, 12 in the first quarter, and 17 in the first half. CJ McCollum added 18 in the first half. No other Blazer had more than 6, but they were up 11. But they couldn't really pull away in the third quarter. The lead swelled all the way to 18. It looked like they were going to cruise to this one, and then yet they were only up 8 at the end of the fourth quarter, and the Sixers were just hanging around. Less than 2 minutes in the quarter, the Sixers cut the lead to 4, and then at the 6-minute mark, when Tobias Harris hit a jumper, the Blazers found themselves up 2 with just over 6 minutes left, but the Blazers closed from there. Damian Lillard had 10 points in the final 6 minutes and 18 seconds. And the Blazers go on to win 118-111. Dame finished with 39 points on 10 of 21 shooting, hit 5 of 13 threes. He was 14 of 14 on the line, added 7 assists. CJ McCollum, 18 in the first half, 0 in the second half. All of his damage came in those first 2 quarters. Norman Powell got busy in the third quarter with 9, finished with 17. Yusuf Nurkic a double-double with 11 and 11. And Nazir Little with 11 points off the bench. Tobias Harris led the 76ers with 28. The Sixers were playing without Joel Embiid and without Danny Green, and of course without Ben Simmons. This could be a while without Ben Simmons, but 28 from Tobias Harris, 28 from Tyrese Maxey, who I thought was really good. And they just, a team missing 3 of their 4 best players, depending on how you want to categorize Simmons' like inclusion on the roster, but certainly very important parts with no Embiid and no Danny Green, who's like such an anchor to what they want to do. And they hung around and wouldn't go away. And the Blazers, just finally held them off, basically stiff-armed them in the final 6 minutes. Thanks in part to Dame, who had he had 12 points in the first quarter and 10 points in the final 6 minutes of this game. He opened strong for a team that really had needed him to really needed a good start. They've been struggling to start games, and Dame made sure that this wasn't like one of those games where they were down 9, 5 minutes in, and Chauncey Billups has to take a timeout and say, "Hey guys, can we play a little harder?" But this, Dame took sort of, put his foot on the gas early, and then when they needed to pull away, when the game got a little too close for comfort, 10 points in the final 6 minutes. His watch was working. I want to talk a bunch about Dame here. 39, and he was like. this was a talent win. And what I mean by that, I talk about, if you're a long-time listener, you've probably heard me say like it's a talent league. And I think this game is a really good example of what I mean by talent league. Like the Sixers were missing their best players, but it's all relatively even in the league. Like the difference in everyone's good is basically what it comes down to. Everyone's pretty good. But talent typically wins out. The Blazers up 18, can't put a team away, and then their best player comes back in with like 6 minutes to go. Dame checked in a little earlier than I checked in at like the 10-minute mark, but he kind of gets it going in the final 6 minutes, and he's the best player on the court, and they win the game, and they win the game with talent. I think this was like a refreshing win because it was that simple. The Blazers there was no crazy comeback. There was no, they didn't blow the whole lead and then have to like panic or whatever. And it wasn't like it was in the balance in the final 40 seconds or whatever, like it was against the Bulls, where you get a little bit lucky when you get in one possession games, right? Like Zach LaVine misses a wide open three and you feel better about it. But if he makes a wide open three, you feel a lot worse. It's just like a real coin flip of a results based analysis. But like this was a game when just talent won. Dame was the best player on the court. They won because they had the best player. There are many of these throughout the NBA's regular season. It's more common than not that the games will be relatively close, and then you kind of just win by having better players. It's not always scheme and luck. Like it's always scheme and luck, but it's like sometimes it's literally just like who is the best player on the court, their team is going to win this game, and that's what it was today. And I think in some ways it was refreshing to see Damian Lillard just do that. What Dame mentioned, though, and I think this was, to me, somewhat noteworthy, is early in the season, we were kind of waiting for Dame to be back, right? It was the ticking time bomb was the analogy that Chauncey Billups used. And then, he had a pretty good game. He hit 5 threes and he said, no, not yet. And then he struggled. And then he openly admitted that he's dealing with this physical ailment. And then he's been on the injury report the last 3 games, missed last Sunday's game against the Denver Nuggets, then played this week. But each game that he played this week, he was on the injury report. In fact, he was on the injury report ahead of this game. And I asked Chauncey Billups at the time of pregame, Dame wasn't cleared, and Chauncey's like, I don't know. And I kind of said, like, what goes into this? Like, what is the decision? And he's like, you hear from the trainers, you can't really trust Dame because he's going to want to play. He's going to say he's fine. So you got to talk to the trainers. They're going to get a good look at him, test him, and see if his abs are okay, his abdomen muscles are going to let him play. And I said, is there a chance that that Dame gets shut down for an extended period? Because at the time it's like, if he's going to be on the injury list every night, he's playing through this, like would a week off help? LeBron James just took 2 weeks off with an abdominal injury, so it's like, are the Blazers considering something similar? 2 weeks, give Dame 2 weeks off and kind of let him heal up. And Chauncey, I'll say what he said and I'll kind of unpack it. He was like, everything's on the table. And what he was saying to me was like, I don't want to answer that. He was like a throwaway answer. It was like, I'll just, yeah, sure, whatever. Like he was trying to get me, it's just like, not stop asking questions, but like, yeah, sure. Anything could happen. I'm not going to give you any insight into our thinking. But what he didn't say is hell no. What he didn't say is like, absolutely not. Dame's going to play. He just said like, sure. I mean, we're trying to get him right. We want him to play. He's our best player. You don't want him to play hurt, but you do want him out on the court. So yeah, we've considered all our options. Not playing him for an extended period of time is one of the options we've considered. I'm not reading anything into that, but I will say that like the other option of hell no, we haven't considered that was on the table, and Chauncey did not go there. So like I'm kind of going into this game like, man, Dame has looked a little bit better, but like, is he right? Like, is he physically right? Because if he's not, he can still be pretty good. He's just going to be one of the better players on the court and never have a chance to sort of repeatedly touch heights that no one else on the court can touch. It's what makes Dame so special is he goes into these 3, 4, 5, 8 minute stretches where it's just like, oh yeah, I mean, there's no one else. There's 4 other people in the world who could do what he does. You can't guard him. It doesn't matter. And he is emphatic and stubborn about burning you down from 35 feet out. Like he's just going to flamethrow you to death. And if you come out farther enough, he's going to blow past your slow bigs to the rim and finish usually on the left-hand side with his right hand. Like I've seen a million times, or at least hundreds. So like, if he's not right, you just don't have that many chances to sort of touch those heights. And so then he comes out, and I thought he was really good early and put the game away late. And for the most part, looked like Dame, took some deep threes and punished drop coverage. And then after the game, he said like he's feeling like he's getting into a rhythm. So let's talk a little bit about more of that rhythm in the second segment. Like, is Dame getting close? Should we trust him? He's always optimistic, but we had stopped talking about the ticking time bomb, and it was more like a little bit of worry. Have we gotten back to the point where we're on Dame watch? Are we watching that explosion come back? That's what I want to talk about in the second segment. But before we do that, I want to tell you all about Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy made easy. I've been getting in on Prize Picks. I think you could enjoy it too. Here's how it works. It's the best NBA DFS prop game on the market, and it offers more props than any other DFS prop operator. So you get your superstar players, you get your end of the bench guys. All you're doing is you're picking an over-under, and it's your picks versus the projections. If you get it right, you win the money. It's as simple as that. They got an award-winning app. I use the app. It's great. They also got a website. It's pretty clean too, but the app is how your boy does it. And you pick 2 to 5 players, you pick your over-unders, and then you submit your picks however you want to bet. You can bet to get some of them right and win a little bit of money. You can, if you're feeling lucky, you can bet to get all of them right and increase your wins. So if this is something you want to do where you don't have to play against experts, you don't have to play against the field, it's just you picking over-unders versus the projections, why don't you go download their app or go to prizepicks.com and use the promo code NBA, and you will get 100% instant match on a deposit up to $100. I've done it. I got my instant match. I'm winning money. Why don't you do the same? Go to prizepicks.com or download the app and make sure you use that promo code NBA. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made simple. Today's show is also brought to you by DirecTV. Listen, this has got to sound familiar. If you're someone who's trying to watch sports and your favorite movies and your favorite TV shows, you know that sometimes you got to juggle between remotes or juggle between devices or scramble for logins or whatever it may be. There's a lot of clutter and a lot of hassle. So what if I told you about a way to get your TV together? It's called DirecTV Stream. Brings you your live TV and on-demand favorites like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, your favorite movies, your favorite shows all in one place. Don't juggle the remotes. Don't chase logins. Don't buy new devices. Just get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. All right. So we talked about the Blazers' win over the Philadelphia 76ers on Saturday night. We touched on Damian Lillard. 39 points. Kind of looked like Damian Lillard. We've been waiting for this. This is Dame's first 30-point game of the season. We're 16 games in, he hadn't scored 30 yet. Dude averaged 32 years ago and averaged, 28 plus last season. Hadn't touched it yet. Hasn't been himself. I think it's pretty clearly a health issue that's holding him back. Like I really do believe some of it is it's the abdomen issue plus forcing it, pressing because he's missing so much. But there is reason to be concerned over how healthy he is, and I think after not openly admitting that for a while, now we're starting to see it. But then it's like, is Dame hurt? Are we worried? And I'm like, yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm always a pessimist. I'm always a little skeptical. And also, I've seen him be so good when he's not so good over enough 16 consecutive games where you're like, where is this dude? And then all of a sudden he shows up and has 39 against the Sixers. And he said after the game that he feels like he's kind of finding a rhythm. He didn't go as far to say like, I'm back, because, frankly, one game, a hot streak does not make. He's been a little bit better, but 39 and making 5 threes, that looks like Damian Lillard, but he's capable of going on a heater for 10 games and where he's averaging 35 plus, right? Where you're just like, oh yeah, no one else can do that, huh? Or like I said, 4 other dudes in the world can do that. He stopped short of calling this of yelling I'm back and saying that the time bomb has gone off or the Dame-assance is here. But he did say he feels better over the last 5-6 games. Like over the last couple weeks, 2 weeks, 5-6 games, he feels better. And over the last 7 games, Damian Lillard has been better. That included a game he sat out. That's over the last 8 games, he's played 7 out of the 8. And he sat out against Denver. Blazers got walloped. It was bad news. They played Denver again on Tuesday. More on that in a moment. But over the last 7 games, Dame is averaging 26.4 points, 4.1 boards, 7.3 assists. He's shooting 45.4% from the field, 38% from three on 9.7 attempts per game, and 91% of the free throw line. 38% on almost 10 attempts a game. Like, maybe you'd like to see him shoot 11 or 12, quite frankly, because Duke can really shoot it. But that's looking like Dame's. I mean, 26, 4, and 7 on 40% shooting is kind of a reasonable year to expect for Dame, because like if there's going to be more Norm touches and Ant is going to get a bigger slice of the offensive pie, although he's been a little bit off recently, and you're still going to have CJ out there commandeering, I guess, sharing a few possessions. Like, yeah, Dame might not be a 29-9 guy, 28-8 guy. He might end up being 26-8 is like a 26-8 on this shooting is like would be a good year. He'd be back in the All-Star conversation. I don't think Dame was an All-Star for the first 16 games. Like, I don't think he would have been in the conversation. I don't think he would have been. You couldn't even list him as snubbed. He was averaging like 21 and not shooting very well, or just under 21 and not shooting very well. Like, but over the last 7 games, Dame is like getting back there. He's getting back there, and some of it is like he's finding his rhythm. He told reporters after the game that the Blazers, they had 2 days off before this game, and they had a blackout day. They played Wednesday night. They had a blackout day Thursday. Nobody's allowed in the practice facility. They had played 6 games in 9 days. Everybody needs time off. You need mental time off. You need to just go like spend time with your family, et cetera, et cetera. Chauncey Billups closes the PF on Thursday. Friday, they hold a practice. Dame said he went to practice, got through his normal routine, and then came back at night to get more shots up, just because he knows what you know, is that he hasn't been himself this year and that he needs to get hot and get going. And this team like truly depends on him. So he gets those extra shots up, and then he comes back and has 39, and that's it. That's the trick. Just shoot more. It's not that simple, but it's nice. Like, before early in the season, he said he isn't going to like stray from his routine, right? Like he's going to trust the work. And then you get deeper into this and you're just like, oh, it's almost a quarter of the season. Like, it's whatever, 15% of the season, 18% of the season. And like, I'm not myself. I think there was like, that meant Friday night back in the gym, seeing it go in and finding your stroke. And I am not ready to say Dame is back, but I will because I want to see it 3-4 more games in a row. But it was nice to see Damian Lillard score 39 points. It was nice to see the Dame that we know, the Dame that we appreciate, the guy who makes this so damn fun. And to see him, put the game away down the stretch, getting into his jump shot and getting to the free throw line. Like this was Dame, right? Like this, and he's starting to look like Damian Lillard. But seeing the dude go for, I'll say this, seeing Dame go for 39-7 felt normal. And that's the biggest compliment I can give him. Of course he had 39-7. He's playing a team that can't guard him. He's playing, Tyrese Maxey and Seth Curry can't guard him. You could put Matisse Thybulle in there, but he's not a good enough offensive player to keep on the court. So best of luck to you, because you don't have an answer that can get it done on offense and defense. Dame's too good. There needs to be more nights when Dame's too good, when he's the riddle you can't solve. I hope we see more of him. I will. Dame has another one of these games against Denver and Sacramento later this week. They played Tuesday, Wednesday, back to back. Like I will sound the alarms because I'm ready for it. Right? Like I'm ready to wave the flag and fire the cannons and say Dame back. But he's just so damn good that he can score 40 and be injured. I will still be paying attention to what he looks like physically, but hopefully this is the beginning of a big run. Other note from this game. Blazers are still going to close small against teams that go small. Yusuf Nurkic sat for a long time in the second half. He came out at about the 6-minute mark of the third quarter, came back at just over the 6.5 minutes, 6:36 in the fourth quarter, and basically played 2 minutes. During that time, the Sixers had Matisse Thybulle on the court. They took Thybulle out and brought in George Niang, and Niang can shoot, Thybulle can't. So it's like it changed up the sort of calculation. Nurk commits 2 quick fouls. Same thing. They put him in pick and rolls, and Tyrese Maxey tries to turn the corner, and Nurk, he reached on one, did like a reach around slap, try to slap the ball out, poke it out from the back. Got called for a foul, and they go the other side, and he kind of sliding his feet, hip checks him a little bit, gets called for 2 fouls. They get in the bonus, and Chauncey Billups did not hesitate. After it was pretty 2 solid minutes, Nurk had a layup, he had a couple rebounds, he blocked a shot. Like he was two really solid 2-minute stretch from Nurk. And after those 2 minutes, Chauncey quick yank after those 2 fouls, go back to Nance. In part because of the small ball matchup, in part because of the 2 fouls. But Nurk like threw his mouthpiece as he was heading to the bench, and I tweeted something like, "Oh man, Nurk's pissed." Like he threw his mouthpiece, and Dame went over and Dame went over and said something to him, and it seemed like this was it seemed like it was frustration, right? Because of his role. And I was watching Nurk during the game. He sat for a long time, and he looked like someone who wanted to play. You don't need to have a master's in psychology to know dude who starts in a contract year wants to also play at the end of games. This is not breaking news or a big surprise. Everyone in the league wants to play at the end of games. Everyone who's at the Nurk's level wants to close games. They want to start. They want to play a bunch. It's like it is a sort of normal condition of being competitive and in the league. But I think I was wrong, quite frankly, in the tweet, and I sent a clarification. But many people, Twitter is a place where you get corrections. Watching live from my seat, I read it as Nurk being mad at the sub. When I rewatched it when I got home, hour and a half later, maybe more, like Nurk seemed more mad at the fouls. So I'll say this. I don't think he was like throwing a fit or showing up Billups, but he was pissed, and you know why he's pissed. He wants to play, and he wants to play better, and he wants to play at the end of games. Like he doesn't want to come out with the final 4.5 minutes and not play. This wasn't a good game for him to play, right? Like this wasn't a strategically the small ball group and a shooter who he was going to have to guard at the 5. Like that's not a good setup for him, right? That's a better Nance game. I understand it strategically. I'm not like confused about why we got there. I just think it's like a normal thing that Nurk's mad, and I think it's a thing or Nurk's frustrated. I think it's a thing to monitor. He kind of hinted at frustration after the Bulls game, that team played super small, and he was like, and Nurk played well but didn't close, and then he doesn't close here, and he plays what is that, like 8 minutes in the second half? This is just a limited run. People are gonna like it's a normal, reasonable, believable thing that he'd be frustrated. But it's something to monitor. It's just something to monitor. I mea culpa for maybe making it more than it was, but really it was just an observation that I got wrong. Don't tweet, folks. Maybe that's the lesson here. I'll probably just won't tweet any more observations during the game, so I don't make anyone upset who has access to the World Wide Web. But like it's worth noting that Nurk is not playing at the end of games. He's not playing at the end of games for sound and reasonable strategic reasonable reasons I was trying to avoid, but I still ended up there. Like totally believable, straightforward, and correct strategy is going into having Nurk sit at the end of games. If there's not a big traditional center, Larry Nance is just a better at what they want to do at the end of games, and he's been good. Like Larry's been good, so there's no reason to you're not like sacrificing a whole ton of talent. You're just going with a different shape. But I think Nurk's frustration with his role and what the deal is there, I think is worth monitoring because he's been frustrated. He's entering the final year of his contract. He's someone who is he kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve. You'll see it when he's mad, when he's frustrated about his role or the situation or whatever it is. And like it's normal for anyone who starts the game to want to be there at the end. It's a tough pill to swallow. So while I'm apologizing for maybe like I'm not even blowing something out of proportion, just a straight up, I saw it wrong from section 113 when I got the luxury of seeing it from my computer. It made more, or from my television, it made more sense. Don't tweet, but I think the larger observation is still something I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on with Yusuf Nurkic. If you don't follow me on Twitter and you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, good for you. All right, let's come back in the fourth segment, in the fourth quarter. In the third segment, the final segment, to close out the show, the Blazers have a really tough week ahead of them. They have not been a good road team. Here's a chance to prove it against some of the best in the league. That's what we'll talk about in the third segment to close out the show. But first, let me tell you about Built Bar. It's just the best tasting protein bar on the market. That's what they're doing. How about this? Like, you're into Built Bar, right? You're like, I want to try this out. I know what I like, but maybe I don't know. Well, how about this? Right now on Built.com, they got a mystery flavor. All the fun in the world. You know what you like, but you're trying to experience new things, trying to challenge your palate. Well, you can pick the mystery flavor, and they'll send you a whole box of surprise flavors. How fun is that? If you want to take out the mystery, they got other flavors there that will meet your palate, meet your taste buds where they're at. So go check built.com. There are all winter long. There's new and limited time flavors. So make sure you're going to built.com regularly to see what they got, because you might find something new that you didn't know about. All of them, no matter what you choose, are going to come with 17 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 180 calories, 4 to 5 grams of sugar, and no more than 5 grams of net carbs. All tasty, all healthy. Go get yourself some. Go to built.com and use the promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your order. That is promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Still a pass first point guard. Still Mike Richmond. Still listening to Locked On Blazers. We talked about the win over Philly. Dame's excellence. He's trending in the right direction. We're not going to call it a hot streak just yet, but we're starting to see signs that Damian Lillard Sr., one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA, one of the best players in the history of the Blazers franchise, is starting to look like Damian Lillard Sr., one of the best players in the NBA, one of the best players in the history of the franchise. It's starting to happen. We will, 39-7. Let's see a couple more, because if he gets going, it changes it changes the whole calculation. They get one of the top 10 players in the league back in the lineup all of a sudden. They might have something brewing. They haven't had him, and they've kind of hung in there as a 500 team. If they get him, if they get that Dame back for a consistent period, woo, look out. But woo, look out. How about this? Tough week ahead. There's a lot to woo, look out for. Blazers going a little mini 3-gamer at the end of the week, but it starts Tuesday against the Denver Nuggets. As I'm recording this, it's Sunday afternoon. The Nuggets play, and Jokic is still questionable to play. He missed Friday's game with a right wrist injury. It's not clear if he's going to play in Phoenix as I'm recording this. By the time you listen to this, unfortunately, the game will have started, but you'll know. But it's Jokic has either missed 2 games in a row, or is almost warmed up and decided not to play against Phoenix, and is likely going to play Tuesday. I think we see him. I try to avoid game previews because you just never know with this stuff. It moves quickly, but Jokic and the Nuggets beat the snot out of the Blazers in Denver. It's a chance to get them back. The Blazers are really, really good at home. They're 8-1 at home. Shout out to the Blazers Intrepid PR staff, who pointed out this is their longest home winning streak since 2019, which is just the type of stat that you get from an Intrepid PR staff. You have to go all the way back 2 NBA seasons to find a streak this good at home. But they were really good in 2019, so I guess it's worth pointing out. But this is a chance to push the streak, continue that home winning streak, continue the sort of good vibes around this team, and beat a team that smacked you earlier this year. The Nuggets have been kind of scuffling a little bit. They're just not good when Jokic is off the court, but he's going to be right back in the MVP conversation. I don't think he's the MVP this year, but he's at worst the 4th leading vote getter in the MVP race. He's just been incredible. So if he plays, great test. Can't wait to see it. And that's a Nurk game. And so to me, I'm circling it because that's a game where you need Nurk to be good, and even to be good so he can close at the end of the game, right? Stay out of foul trouble, keep the Blazers in it, and compete against Jokic. Because they're going to need him. It's hard to go small against someone as beefy and dominant as Jokic. You need someone with Nurk's size. In theory, a great matchup, a great Nurk game. Circle it on your calendars. That's Tuesday night. Then the road trip starts at Sacramento, who just fired Luke Walton, and Alvin Gentry is going to take it over. They might be getting that new coach boost, a little new coach bump that happens so often when coaches get fired. Even bad teams find a way to win with a new coach sometimes. And then Friday at Golden State, that's the best team in the NBA. They're not going to have Klay Thompson back, even though he's coming soon. Sounds like he's going to be around just before the end of the new year, according to a report from Shams Charania. But even without Klay Thompson, the Warriors are the best team in the NBA, the best defense in the league. They run you out of the gym in third quarters. They're just so darn good. It's a great test. And then Monday, after a weekend off, the Blazers get a long time in San Francisco around Thanksgiving. And then Monday they play at Utah, a team that's going to be 2nd or 3rd in the West all season long. This is a great trip and a great week. Denver, Golden State, Utah with a gotta win it, gotta prove you could win it game against the Kings to kick off the road trip. The Blazers are 1-7 on the road, and their one win comes against the Houston Rockets, who are the worst team in the NBA and have lost 14 consecutive games. So the only win that they've carved out on the road is against truly the worst collection of talent in the league, the worst team in the league. So it would be great to see them get going this week. This is And when I first was organizing this episode, I was going to do like a Great British Break Off thing, like welcome to Prove It Week. So I'll still hit you with the welcome to Prove It Week, because it's Prove It Week for the Blazers. Like prove it. They've looked good. They look like a good competitive home team. They fancy themselves one of the good teams in the West. And luckily for the rest of the West, the bottom half of the conference is kind of meh. It's kind of just like, it's there for them. Like, as much as they've kind of scuffled and looked like two different teams home and away, like they're still right there in the mix, 16 games in to hop up into the fourth seed in the West. No problem. You win a couple of these games, you put yourself right back in the position that you've wanted to be in, even with a kind of a booty start. So welcome to Prove It Week. Denver at Sac, at Golden State, at Utah. Like this is, I record these episodes typically on Sunday afternoon. So we won't get a Monday show I record on Sunday afternoon. So we won't get the Utah game by time I record in this space next week. But we're going to get three big games. We'll recap all those games. We'll recap Denver and recap Sacramento, and we'll talk about the Golden State game next weekend. But like, this is a great opportunity to sort of find out if this team is for real, because when they've gone on the road, they've gotten put to bed early. They don't need to win in Golden State. It'd be their best win of the season if they win in Golden State, but they need to be competitive. They need to be competitive against one of the best teams in the league, because if the Blazers fancy themselves a good team, they got to play like it against other very good teams. Denver is a great test, especially assuming Jokic is healthy, and sandwiched in there in these three tough games is just like go ahead and take care of business, a TCB type game, much like the Sixers game, a TCB type game where you have more talent. Go win because you have more talent against the Kings. Fun week ahead. Fun week. Welcome to Prove It Week. No Bake Off spoilers though in my Twitter mentions. I'm a week behind. I might watch it, but I might just watch it as I publish this, so you all can't come get me. But I'm excited for more Bake Off. I'm excited for more Blazers basketball. I'm excited for you, dear listener, to go subscribe to the YouTube channel. So go ahead and do that. If you're listening now, you've made it to the end of the podcast, or to the ending of the podcast. You owe it to me to subscribe. You listen to the whole dang show. So go to YouTube right now and hit that subscribe button. Or if you're watching on YouTube, just smash the subscribe button. Tell your friends to do the same. They can find it on YouTube. They can find it wherever they already get podcasts. Just search Locked On Blazers. We'll be right there waiting for them. Got a fun week ahead this week. You're listening to Monday, November 22nd show. On Tuesday, we'll have a mailbag show, so get your questions in at Mike G. Rich and lockedonblazerspod@gmail.com. Wednesday show, we'll recap the Nuggets game. Thursday show, we will have a show published on Thanksgiving. It'll be waiting for you in your feeds on Thursday and Friday, no matter when you get back to it, if you're an American listener celebrating Thanksgiving. If you're not, only 4 shows this week because we're celebrating Thanksgiving in the United States. So 4 shows this week. Should be a lot of fun. No quickie this week, but we'll get Jason back on the show. And if some news breaks, I'll force him to come on. He's my friend. I know where to track him down. So fun week ahead. Get your mailbag questions in. Come back for recap of Denver. Come back for the recap of the Kings. Tell your friends to do the same. Tell your friends to come back or go ahead and find it. Like I said at the top of the show, the best way for people to discover this show is you, dear listener. If you enjoy it, tell your friend. People discover podcasts by word of mouth. That's how it works. So you are my greatest advocate. Go tell your friends. If you got friends who like basketball, go tell them, hey, I like Locked On Blazers, and it's available wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. I think you'll like it too. That's the best way to support the show. Appreciate you listening. Talk to you soon.